Hello, welcome to episode 5 of the book set Completionist. My name is Tom. Today I'm reviewing 2 classic science fiction novels, but of course, as always, I will start with the book set reveal. Yes, today we have another trilogy, and it is not in any genre that I have covered before. The genre of this book set is thriller, or you might say it's espionage or spy. Is spy-fi a thing? Spy fiction? Did I just discover something new here? Spy-fi, I like that. Now, these books were published in 1980, first part, 1986, and 1990. So over a decade did this author spend on this trilogy. Now, there are more books beyond this trilogy, but they were not written by this author anymore. Maybe he died. I'm not sure. But I have only selected these 3 out of the maybe larger set that exists. So this is about a guy who one day wakes up not knowing who he is, and soon he finds out that our people are after him, trying to kill him. This has been made into movies. These 3 books have been made into a movie for each of these books. And one famous actor in those movies is Matt Damon. Okay, you might get an idea. And the author of these books is Robert Ludlum. Now, I think now it should be quite clear what this is. If not, I will reveal it right now. Okay. And here it is. We're talking about the Jason Bourne trilogy. Part 1, The Bourne Identity. Part 2, The Bourne Supremacy. And Part 3, The Bourne Ultimatum. The trilogy starts with The Bourne Identity, then follows with The Bourne Supremacy, and ends with The Bourne Ultimatum. These are pretty hefty novels. Oops. Pretty large bricks of text. So you'll spend some time finishing this whole trilogy. But I'm looking forward to that. The first book today is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? This is a science fiction novel written by Philip K. Dick in 1968. There has been a movie made from this book called Blade Runner. And this is one of those books that I think any science fiction fan should read. Did I like it though? Maybe not as much as others have liked it, but it is definitely an important book and you should read it. So let me talk about that. The story takes place here on Earth in a near future. The main character is a bounty hunter whose job it is to catch androids who have escaped from Mars. In this future, Mars is now our main home, and the Earth has become sort of a secondary place for people to live. It has become radioactive after some nuclear war happened, and the people who are still here are just those who are not able to move to Mars. On Mars, there are androids, which are part of everybody's lives, and some of them commit crimes, and they flee to Earth. And this bounty hunter's job is to catch these androids and retire them, or just to kill them or destroy them. And that's not an easy job to have because these androids just look very much like people. In fact, they're indistinguishable from people. And how then does this bounty hunter know who the androids are? Now, in the book, he has a method for that. And that I think is one of the flaws of the story, if you want to call it a flaw, because it's an interview. He really sits down suspected androids for an interview and asks them questions that would reveal their level of empathy, because empathy is one of the main characteristics that humans are supposed to have and that androids then lack. And these questions are supposed to reveal then that this being has no empathy or not enough, and will determine that they are an android, and then they need to be removed. These androids know that they're being chased by a bounty hunter, so the moment that they are caught, why would they agree to an interview knowing full well that when they answer these questions, they will get caught or they will be detained and destroyed? Now, some of these androids don't even know that they're androids. That's the thing. These androids are well, they have been programmed with memories that make them believe that they're real humans. And maybe that's why they allow these interviews to take place. But why would they escape to Earth if, even if they thought they were real people, they would still be criminals, having run away from Mars, living on Earth, being chased by this person. So I don't think that's very strong. And so, yeah, you get this dynamic where everybody suspects each other of being an android. It's not very clear who is who, because you've got these pre-programmed memories that people have that make them unaware that they are, in fact, themselves androids. And so who's an android? Who are you? Now, the main character also gets involved with an android, so he has this personal struggle too in the story about how to deal with his own feelings regarding his job. Is he really sure that androids are evil and should be retired? Could it be that these androids have some emotional benefits or have something that redeems them or makes them worth keeping around? And that's an important theme of the book. Even though they're androids, are they really just meaningless machines that can be discarded, or do they have some right to life, perhaps? Another theme of this novel is the fact that animals are very rare on this earth. They have all gone extinct. And so if you are able to get hold of a real animal, you are at a very high level of status. And so the main character also tries to get hold of such an animal, and he gets one, even though he had one already, but that was not a real one. That was a robot, and he didn't want to have a robot animal. He wanted to have an actual animal, but it's very expensive. And so all the money that he makes from his job goes into this desire of owning a real animal because it elevates his status. Now you can again argue, who cares? It's Earth. It's dystopian. Nobody really cares about what happens on Earth anymore. So why would this main character be so set on getting an animal? Because there's no one around really to give him that status. Another thing I liked about this is that in this future there are certain machines. They're called mood organs, which allow people to plug in their brains into a communal machine that then shares or extracts their mood. So if you have a very strong mood, you can plug into the machine and you share your mood with other people. Or if you are in need of a certain mood, you want to be happy or you want to be proud, for example, then you just plug in to that machine and the mood will come to you. That's nice. I like that. So why did I say at the start that I didn't really enjoy this? Mostly because of the fluff. There's a lot of fluff around the main themes that I described. And I think, and not only me thinks this, but others also agree that the writing is not as efficient as it could be. This author, Mr. Dick, has a really distinct style, which sets him out from all the rest, but which also means that he's not as accessible as some of the other authors in this genre. And now you can look past that and just focus on the ideas of this novel, the fact that empathy is one of the main drivers of human society in that time, or that we have androids that pretend to be human, and that the question about who deserves to live, even if you're an android, does it mean you're just disposable or not, right? These sort of questions are worth thinking about. And they are an interesting reason for reading this novel. I think so. So do I recommend this novel? Yes, I do, but only now after having already passed it on. As you see, there is no book here. After reading it, I didn't really get it, and I sold the book. But now in preparation for this video, I watched some videos, I've read other people's reviews, and I now realize maybe there's more to it than I initially thought. So if you read this book, you might at first think, what's this all about? It's very confusing, it's not very coherent. But I think now that I want to read it again. And so if you read this book and you finished it, just keep it. Keep it on your shelf. Wait a couple of weeks, maybe months, and try to read that again and get some other opinions from other people. Get some perspective. Sort of prepare yourself for a second go at it. I think then it would be you get a better result out of that. I think I will. By the way, yeah, that's a sheep. Oh yeah, why am I talking about a sheep? Well, do androids dream of electric sheep? The title refers to humans' habit now to have an animal, either a real one or a machine, or an electric version of a sheep. So do androids have the same desires as humans do? And does that make them human? Or does it not? Do they dream about human desires? Because they get these memories imprinted or programmed into their brain. So logically, they would have dreams just as we do. Doesn't that make them human too? Do they deserve to live? Or are they just machines that can be destroyed? So this topic, this question, whether androids have a right to live, that's the main theme, and I think that's worth thinking about. Then I read Childhood's End by Arthur C. Clarke. This book was written in the 50s, 1953. Its publication date. Very old now, but that doesn't matter at all. Don't think it's a dated book. Don't think it's not worth reading because it's old, because it really is. I really love this book. It blew me away at the ending. I'm not going to spoil it. I will try to give you some introduction to it. So what is it about? In the present day of when it was written, let's say the 1950s, one day there appear these massive spaceships in the sky, and everybody is scared. You can say that's an invasion of aliens, right? That's a popular theme in many science fiction books. Maybe this was the first time this was attempted. And in most of these stories, these aliens are enemies. They're trying to destroy the human race. They're trying to invade and colonize and destroy, and well, all that. Like War of the Worlds, you've seen that perhaps. These aliens always have bad intentions for us. But not these aliens. After a couple of days, these aliens announce themselves as benevolent, right? They're good to us. They say they have studied us for a long, long time. They speak our language. They know about our culture, about our languages, about the way of life, everything they know about us. So they are perfectly able to communicate with us and make their intentions known. Now, what are these intentions? Basically, they want our race to prosper. They want us to be successful, and they want to remove anything that would hinder that. They would make it so that there are no more wars, that there is no more hunger, that there's no more poverty. Everything will become much better than it is. So, sounds good now? Why would you oppose that? Some don't, others do. Because as long as there's some entity that is in control, you might oppose that. Say, no, man, I don't want that. I don't want to be told what to do. I want to be free. I want to have my personal liberty and freedom, even though everything appears to be great, but I don't care. An important reason for why people think that is because these aliens don't show themselves. They communicate either through a public broadcast to the entire planet, or they go through this one guy. He's the Secretary General of the UN, or United Nations might be the appropriate organization that represents all of humanity. And this Secretary General, he occasionally goes up into one of these spaceships and communicates with their leader. This UN leader expresses humankind's frustration with these aliens for not showing who they are. It's one thing to be told what to do and accept that, but it's another thing to just not know how to deal with the entity that's controlling your life. Like, who are you? Show yourself. Communicate with us. Tell us what you want. What's your plan? Why are you here? All these questions. We want to know answers to those. And if we're not given those answers, then we might rebel. Okay, so fortunately for the aliens, they're very powerful. They have lots of ways to just suppress any opposition and make sure that their plan is going into the right direction. So what that plan is, that I will leave up to you to discover. I'm not going to share that. Little warning, it does feel a bit slow at times, and you might wonder what's going on. These questions I have to, as a reader, are not getting answers. So why should I keep reading? Bear with it. The final part of the book is really like, what? No way. That is really a big payoff, and I would really, really recommend you read this book. I even have 2 copies of it. Another thing I'll say about this book is that it is really a novel of ideas. Like, one of those ideas is, what happens if aliens invade our planet? How do we respond? What's the psychological change in our behavior when you've got these all controlling entities telling us what to do, even if they are benevolent, if they are with good intentions? How does it change the way we live? Now, that's one thing. So as a result, Mr. Clarke did not really focus on the characters in his novel. These characters are just vehicles to progress the plot. He doesn't put a lot of focus on them or how they feel or the character development. It's just, okay, there are people on Earth who experience this invasion, and through them he will tell the story. Another thing is that it was written in the 50s, and that the characters also show behavior and ideas and attitudes of the 50s, speak language like it's in the 50s. So the book does take place also in the future. There's a time jump towards around 2050, like almost where we are today. But the people still talk like in the 50s. They use vocabulary that we don't use anymore. And so it's easy for us now to say, hey man, people don't speak like that anymore. This future in the book is our present day. And these people don't really, they don't speak like us. They don't behave like us. Okay, well, the author could not have known that. It's very hard to imagine what people really would be like 100 or 150 years from now. So you have to kind of look past that if you read this. So I guess in modern fiction, we are used to having these very nice characters who are very detailed and rich and developed and make all sorts of decisions, and we can relate to them. Not here. These characters don't really have that function. And that's okay. We don't really need them. It's all about the ideas. The ideas in this novel are so unique. Even now, I think, maybe I'm not that of an experienced science fiction reader. I've not seen the ideas that this author shows in his book. And I want to read more of his books, of course, which I will. So go get it. I think you can still find this book relatively easily. It's a classic, although it's almost 70 years old. Try to get it and read it and be amazed. I really recommend this. Okay, then that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching another one of my episodes, and see you again in the next one. Bye.